Welcome back. We missed you.
Seven, boost, boost. 7, 6, 11.
Welcome back. This week's episode, we are talking 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. This is the direct sequel to 28 Years Later. It's directed by Nia DaCosta, who previously directed The Marvels, and a lot of people really hated The Marvels. But I'd seen her direct Candyman, and she'd also had a movie called Hedda that came out last year that a lot of people loved. And 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, the directing's fantastic. Based on Marvel movies and who's directing them, I really do believe that they have a plan that every director has to follow. So it takes your great directors like Sam Raimi, and it kind of lowers their level of direction to what Kevin Feige and Disney and Marvel Studios wants. And then it takes directors like the Russo brothers, who, if you watch any of their own movies and things that they do outside of Disney Marvel, they're not the best directors in the world, and yet somehow they bring them up to a mediocre level that a lot of people really love. And it's not a bad thing for Disney and Marvel Studios to have a game plan that works, because they're a business and they push out movies. But if you're judging the movie based on the director, it makes it a little bit harder to look at the director's work and go, well, I want to see their upcoming movies, because the series of movies they did for Marvel were just okay. They were enjoyable, they were fun, but there were nothing to really, get excited for and go to the theater to see. And unfortunately, I think that might hurt Nia DaCosta, especially 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. This is a fantastic sequel to a movie that was directed by Danny Boyle. These were both written by Alex Garland, and this one is focusing more on Spike from 28 Years Later, who is kind of joined this group of people called Jimmy, and they're going around terrorizing and killing people. And then it follows Ralph Fiennes, who plays this doctor who's kind of set up this bone temple, ossuary to the dead, and he's trying to give some kind of respectful passing to the people who have died, but at the same time he's also trying to figure out if there's a cure for this virus. And the movie works. It has moments in it that are uncomfortable to watch because of the level of violence that's being enacted. But then it also is a really good kind of horror movie with what it's got going on. And I can't really talk a whole lot about what happens in the movie because it just ends up spoiling it. But this does feel like a good conclusion to the series. I really don't see them doing a 28 decades later with this film series, but this feels like a perfect conclusion to the series. I'd highly recommend checking it out in the theater if you have a chance. If you haven't seen 28 Years Later, there's a lot of stuff in this that probably won't make sense. because they touch on it so much in 28 years later. So I'd recommend that one first. And in a previous Is It Worth Seeing Theatrically, I had said that I thought the 28 Years Later was worth seeing theatrically. Although, just like that one, I will say there is a lot of male genitalia shots in this movie. So if you're not really up for seeing, naked zombies and everything, this probably isn't one you want to see in that case. But it's easy to also say, well, and they talked about the prosthetics a lot, so you can believe it's all fake, and it's another easy way to do this. So anyway, if you sat through this, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and come back for more, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.